Y'all, we live in difficult times. There's war, political unrest, the pandemic, poverty, families being torn, communities ripped by gun violence and people dying every day, police, injustice. It's all bringing so much pain. But y'all, we can look inside our minds and we can understand who we are, become better, and do this thing like we've never done it before. But it all starts with our mental health, and I know we can do it. I believe in you because I believe in me, and I believe in us. That's powerful. Just knowing that I am enough. You have to believe that you are enough and that you've given enough. Sometimes I'll tell people when they're struggling with decisions, or make a list of the things you do. When people tell you you're not doing enough, then look at that list and then make your decision.
Yeah.
Because you have to be able to understand. But to do that, you have to be able to validate yourself.
Yes.
Because if you can't validate yourself, then I don't care how much that you have written down, you're going to still be like, oh, I should do it. I think sometimes of course, in the family environment, we might get taught to always do, always have to do. But in church, in our religious experiences, we might be taught that we have to constantly give and sacrifice, do
Yes.
for others.
Be a part of every ministry.
Part of
At church, I want to dance. I want to be an usher. I want to be on the media. I want to volunteer to hand out the fruits and the vegetables. Whatever it is that makes me look like a good Christian or a good member of my church, I want to do all of it because it's all about how people perceive me. But do you technically, when we talk about boundaries, do you have the time, those time boundaries to do all of those things? Are you just putting on the show for the church, but at home, what type of daughter are you? What type of mother are you? What type of auntie are you? You got to be able to balance all of that.
You use the word balance. Balance is such an important thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened in the Western hemisphere, but in the Eastern hemisphere, they talk a lot more about having balance in life.
Balance. Yes.
Balance,
Yes.
balance. So, because anything done to excess can become negative.
Absolutely.
So we need, so we can, I can be the most holy roller, go to church every day and do all those things. But if I'm disconnected from the other things in my community, in my family, I'm not doing those things. There's a
Mhm.
part about life that's not being nurtured the way it to be nurtured. And that can cause problems.
Yes.
And you say, well, I'm just going to trust the Lord, going to take care of it. No, the Lord got you here so you can take care of it.
Yes.
So we have to make the conscious effort to plant seeds and nourish those relationships. So it requires some balance.
Yeah.
So what about cultural? Do you think there's anything else we could discuss culturally that encourages us to just be just doing everything and not setting boundaries?
Absolutely. Culturally, there are some things that we can do to establish better boundaries as we're looking at, I don't know, we're looking at a lot of we're talking about like racism, or are you talking about as like a culture doing things to celebrate different holidays?
So, I think in American culture in particular,
Okay, as Americans. Okay,
in American culture in particular,
broader.
that we tend to put a emphasis on work, which is good. We tend
Absolutely.
to put an emphasis on financial attainment. And so if you're working hard, if you're gaining money, wealth, resources, then there's this impression that you are okay. And as long as you're doing those things, and
Mm,
it doesn't really always consider the fact that at some point in time, that actually runs us down. So in setting
gotcha.
boundaries, when we look at people who we think of who are very famous,
Yes.
who have very, very difficult lives and different challenges. Just a few days ago, I was reading some stuff about temptations, and I realized that these guys went through it, but a lot of their issues were around ascertaining the American dream.
Yes, that's what I was going to touch on. Absolutely. The American dream. You feel like you're supposed to have this marriage, this White House and a white picket fence and a dog. And a lot of us go out and try to fight for that dream and working so hard for this dream. But sometimes we have to have that boundary once again, stepping back from what you truly want versus what other people want you to have and what that looks like. The American dream is not the same for everybody. Everyone does not like dogs. Everyone does not want a house they have to maintain. Everyone does not seek to have children.
Right. And learning how to be content your particular experience. Because we can be on social media all day long and people can show you things that look like, oh my, this is the life.
Yes.
And you'll feel pressure to try to get those things. And so now you won't set boundaries for sleep. You won't set boundaries for eating properly, exercise.
Mm-mm.
You just become this person that work, or you press it.
And allow social media to be your life map.
Yeah,
Whatever is the main thing for the moment.
Yeah.
What is it called? Not streaming, but whatever is like popular right now. Whatever it is. And that's the thing that whatever's trending. That's what I have to do. That's who I have to be.
Right,
And we just
right.
wait until tomorrow or next week to figure out, oh, okay, how I'm supposed to get my hair. Okay, what I'm supposed to wear, what I'm supposed to do according to the social media roadmap.
Exactly. It's overall culture. So we have to figure out how to balance our mind with the realities of our culture so we don't get caught up with always feeling like we don't have the latest shoes, the latest pants, clothes, whatever it is, so we can be cool. But we
Mhm.
can be okay with ourselves where we are in the moment.
Yeah.
Be content. Learn to love themselves. Does somebody love themselves? Are you at peace with yourself? Because when you at peace with yourself, look, I don't care if you in a bucket with a raincoat on and an umbrella. But if you feel good about who you are, you living there, and I ain't trying to over celebrate that. But if you there, you can be happy. I'm happy for you because there's a lot of people who live in a seaside mansion with
Mhm.
over 10 bedrooms, got an inside pool, outside pool, and they are miserable as hell.
Yep. We see that. We see that often when we have celebrities, millionaires, billionaires who end their lives.
Right.
And people think, oh, well, you have all the money in the world. How could you not be happy? Plenty, because they still have other needs. There's still the emotional, the mental, the self-care, the emotional state that you're in. Money does not solve all of your issues. Money may be able to put band-aids on things for the moment, but you cannot buy happiness and you cannot buy peace.
So, one of the things I realized about that is going back to this cultural idea, how we push money and material things. So if you don't learn how to manage your emotional state,
Mhm.
no matter what you get, you will always be driven to get more. Like some people, they are really good with money and they figure out, even being very poor, how to manage their money and their money can grow. Some people figure out how to manage themselves emotionally. And even when they have more, they're not necessarily focusing on so much of having more because they're able to live contently.
Contently.
But if you have more and you're never satisfied, because no matter what you get, you need more, you might
Mhm.
you might wake up one day and realize you're in a place of discontent because no matter how many cars I've had, no matter how many houses I've lived in, no matter
Yep.
how many places I've traveled to, I still never feel content.
If your emotional state
Yeah.
is not right,
Not
none of
right.
that will ever be enough.
So learning how to be in a place where you can be happy is not necessarily about a certain level of material ascertainment. It's internal and being able to regulate that.
Mhm.
So thus boundaries are important. Can be okay. So I can establish my baseline for peace, contentment, and joy. And no matter what's going on in my life, I still got that. I ain't no stopping us now. We always got that going. Excuse me, y'all. I'm getting too excited here. Yeah.
It's okay.
But what about this codependency thing? You want to talk about that a little bit?
Codependency. How do we develop better boundaries with others? So sometimes we have these codependency relationships where you feel like you always need to be needed, you need to be wanted, you always have to be doing something for somebody else. And that it goes both ways because we're out here, not we, but the person who struggles with codependency is always looking for someone to help, help, help. And then we have people who are always like needy, needy, needy. So
Right.
how do we establish that boundary? Like, what is it that I need in this moment? Once again, what do I need? Why am I doing this? How do I feel about it? I'm giving someone $100, but how do I feel about that? Do I feel great to do it? Or is this something that's making me feel uncomfortable? And if you know it's making you feel uncomfortable, then we can just go through, how to explain how to say no.
Right, exactly. As a therapist, yeah, I'm definitely a helper.
Mhm.
And people oftentimes ask me, how do you turn it off? Well, setting a boundary. When I leave out my office and I get in my car, I turn on the music I want to listen to. I go home, I take my shower, I watch what I want to watch on TV, or do what
You wash the day off.
I watch the day off, and I accept this fact that there's some things that's out of my control. When I was at work, I did what I could to help, but now it's up to others to do what they need to do for them.
Yes.
And I see that, I feel that sincerely, so I don't sit around worrying about what's going on with people because I feel like I'm doing my best to
Yeah.
give them what I can when I'm with them.
So can I ask you a question, Gerald?
Yes.
As a 10-year, okay, we're celebrating our 10 years as being a counselor, a social worker, a helper. How long did it take you to get to that point?
Man, I think it took me, I, I think it took, if I would go back, probably like 20 years experience in as a social worker, I
Mhm.
think I probably was in the field over 10 years because initially I'm this really charged up young man that just want to get in and help everybody. And I remember sometimes getting angry about people not doing what I thought they needed to do or not doing what they say they was going to do for themselves. And it would bother me. I would get angry
Yes.
about it. And I'm like, wait a minute, man, I can't be getting angry about this.
Because it's not yours to carry.
Yes.
So, but it took a minute.
It
It
took a
took
minute for me to learn that. Like, I can't get angry about this. And once I was able to do that, understand what I didn't have control of, it also made me more productive and gave me the ability to actually work with more clients because I was able to have that space where, I could hear, experience, engage, be supportive, empathetic, but at the same time, have that boundary
Uh-huh.
where it didn't overtake my personal life.
Okay. Thank you for that. That's
Yeah.
helpful. Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah, yeah. Because with having kids, I'll be self-aware. Look, I'm not gonna go home and make my kids suffer because I had a bad day at work. No, because I know I might be reacting or responding to their behavior in a way that's just not constructive, not because of what they did, but because of my state of mind. So
Mm.
we gonna check that at the door.
Yes. Okay. Moreover, how do you maintain your boundaries when it comes to not only leaving sessions on the couch, right? You leave your office and everyone's problems, concerns, and beliefs are here. Then you get a chance to go home, wash it off, enjoy your family.
Mhm.
What about contact and communication? Do you allow your clients to email you in between sessions?
Well, I tell you this, I do get emails, I do get phone calls. And typically, I will respond by saying, I will contact you at a certain time. That's what I would do.
Okay.
Now, the challenge with that is when there is a medical emergency and people need to go to the emergency.
Absolutely.
In those situations, I generally want to act right then to support them or help them. And sometimes it might be situations where people have a a circumstance that comes up that maybe they just lost a close family member or something like that and they need to talk. I remember a few years ago, I was on vacation and one of my clients had just lost a mother.
Okay.
And so I did respond to that, but I'm not going to be doing that all the time.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to be doing that all the time.
So there's limits.
Yeah, there's limits. And because I always see myself like this, if I don't take care of myself, then I'm going to have less to give to my client.
Amen.
As a parent, if you don't take care of yourself, you're gonna have less to give your children.
Yes.
And so if you mad and cranky and fussing all the time, and your only mode of operating when you deal with your kids is anger and frustration, It's probably because you need to self-care, you need to establish some boundaries. So
Mm-hmm.
when you deal with them, you can be more in what I call the teaching mode. So there's
Yes.
laissez-faire mode, and this is all for another podcast. There is the teaching mode, and then there's more the aggressive mode. And probably as a parent, you need to be more in the teaching mode. That's an awareness that your kids are in the stage of learning and engaging, and a lot of their errors and flaws are because they don't understand. They're largely more emotional. So you have to be willing teaching God over and over again versus saying, I'm gonna beat the hell out you every time you act up.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sorry.
So as we continue to move through our boundaries discussion, what do you feel would be like some key points that we want to leave everybody with? Because there's several. We could
Yeah.
go on and on.
Yes. Obviously, we want to start talking about self-awareness, right? Being self-aware, trying to know your own needs and take care of those own needs.
Yes, and knowing that it's okay to say no.
Yeah, knowing it's okay to say
It is okay. Today, I think that mostly, we want people to understand it's okay to say no, and it's okay to still have that awareness of you don't have to be responsible for everything. When you walk into a room and you're feeling light and you're feeling happy, you have a couple interactions and you leave that room feeling heavy. You ask yourself, is this mine? Is this somebody else's sadness or anger or discomfort? And if you can honestly do that evaluation and see, like, wow, it's not mine.
right.
I can release that. I got to let that go. I
Yes.
can't hold on to everybody's emotions because then I'm never tending to my own.
Exactly. And just like the garbage, reasonable people, when you set boundaries with reasonable people, they will respect it and they will reciprocate.
Hmm.
When you tell people no and they can't respect that, they can't appreciate that, then you probably need to let them go anyway. So when you tell people no, you actually empower yourself to understand who's really on your side.
Mm,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. Who's really on your side? Because people who really got your back, you may not always agree with them. They may not always agree with you, but they gonna support you.
Yes, every time. Yes, they're going to say, I understand. I may not agree with it right now, but I understand why you have to do this. Or some people say, I agree. I get it, girl. I'm all for it. Let me know if you need anything. I'm always going to be here for you. Those are the type of people that we need in our support system.
You know, I used to hear this old saying. My mom used to say, "Hey, when you family and you really support each other, tooth and tongue may fall out, but at the end of the day, you're gonna be there for each other."
Hmm.
People who really got your back, you can tell them no. End of the day, they still gonna have your back.
Yes.
They gonna be there. They gonna be with you all the way. So, saying no. All right. So, what would you say? It is important for us to be, in concluding this, it's important for us to be what, self-aware,
Yes.
knowing that, hey, if we are liked by people, that's nice and that's human to be liked
Yeah.
because we are social. But we don't want it to be toxic where it leads to codependence,
Hmm.
leads to us not being able to take care of ourselves. Because we need to be able to take care of ourselves, because when we take care of ourselves, we are better at managing the things that we need to take care of in life.
Yes. I want to be liked, but do I even like myself?
Exactly. But I gotta like myself enough to know that it's all right for me to set boundaries. Because
Yeah.
remember, as we said earlier, because even God got tired of people complaining and asking for stuff. What about us? We can get tired too. It's okay. Yeah, you don't have to be a bad person to say no. So to continue this discussion in our next episode, we'll be talking about how to maintain self care and boundaries. We're going to look at it a little bit more deeply. So y'all stay tuned for our next episode. It's going to be fire.
Stay tuned. We'll see you in the next episode.